Boom! We are live. We are live on Facebook and YouTube.
Hello.
And I have turned off the flipping. Oh, Alex McDonald is in the chat. He says, "Start the show." Ha 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 ha. We're here, Alex. All right, good evening. It's a Saturday night special, and I got a funny story about that in just a second. But first, let me introduce, and you know, I'm an asshole. I didn't even ask. Jeremy, how do you pronounce your last name?
It's Raywalt. Ray
Raywalt.
Because
I was thinking that W might be one of them further eastern wubbaboos and come out as a revolt, and that sounds like a superhero name. But that's a fair joke though, because you are frankly an American superhero right now. We're here to get your story and talk about the Stop the Tires movement that's coming up. I got some things to say about it. I've picked out a couple of criticisms that have been leveled at you on social media from detractors that I want to get your response to, but I want to just give you the mic for a minute and ask you to tell us about how this started and why it matters. Just tell us your story there. And when you run out of story to tell, we'll ask you questions. We'll keep you talking.
Well, it all started. I'm just a driver in suburban Washington State. I started a Facebook page figuring, a couple of my buddies would join, we'd shoot the shit, and, it'd be a daily thing, a little bit of banter back and forth. Went to bed Friday night, woke up Saturday morning, there was 10,000 members. There were some videos out there on various, a lot of drivers were a little bit unhappy, and I just started a page saying, what happens if we stop the tires? A lot of people jumped on board right away. We're at 4,000 members right now. Not all of them are truckers. Some of them are truckers' wives. Some of them are, people that just want to support truckers in general.
One of them's me.
Some of them are guys like me and Chris.
Well, thank you. Welcome to the club, right? So the reason I started it is mainly based off the presumed president becoming elected. I started because his stand on banning fracking, his stand on the new Green Deal, everything to that effect. That can affect 19 million people's jobs, whether they believe it or not. It could, essentially. When he was in office 6 years ago, everyone remembers going to the pump, right?
Okay. I don't want to interrupt your soapbox, but you talk about 19 million jobs. Can you please break that down just a little bit? What does 19 million jobs look like?
19 million people on the unemployment line. That's what it looks like.
Oh,
well, we're talking about,
fair enough.
We're talking about U.S. numbers. We're talking about 3.5 million truckers.
There are 3.5 million truck drivers. Okay, so
where did the other 16 million come from?
Oil workers, fracking jobs, the people that have to haul it in and out, all their jobs. The beggar at the grocery store doesn't have a job if a truck doesn't show up to deliver the product. All the way from the bottom end, all the way to the top end. That ban can change a lot of people's lives. Obviously, realize it or not. That's
okay. I apologize. Continue with your soapbox, but 19 million is a huge number.
It is.
So I just had to ask.
You can find all the resources and find out exactly how each one's going to be affected. I could sit up here all day and go down a long list, but that's just to sum it up in a nutshell, right? Because if the driver can't haul us load, right, getting there with a higher price cost, our cost of living is going to go up for the products that are in the store because it costs more money to get it there. And it's going to have effects people don't realize. I think a lot of people in this last election voted for somebody they didn't like rather than voted based solely on policy. Policy alone should be the reason you vote, not if you like a person or don't like a person. You should literally look at what they have laid out and actually be an educated educated voter before you circle any box or check any mark that you decide to pick. So that was the main reason. My biggest mistake was probably not starting it before the election.
Well, it's never too late to do the right thing. That's my opinion.
I agree with
Okay, so just real quick, let me ask: if you had your ultimate goal achieved, you're doing this because you want what to happen on the other side of it?
I just want people to realize my main focus, like I said, was just banter between friends originally. But now that it's grown to where it is, now I'm on this rush into this leadership role. And it's really to educate people on the Green New Deal and the ban of fracking, right? And how much it can affect their daily lives. The best way to get and achieve a goal or a good outcome of this would mainly for our main senators, because the House of Representatives is way too big to even try to get them to listen for a minute. The senators, there's 2 in every state. So go to your local hauler, go to your big hauler of your state, whatever that is, and talk to them. Just find out what they really need from Congress in general. They're not listening to us truck drivers, and the only way to prove a point is for all of us to maybe stop our tires for a little bit.
What do the truck drivers want to say? What do you want to say? What do your buddies want to say?
A lot of them have their own, their own adverse things. I mean, with shippers, receivers, brokers, e-logs. I mean, there's several different forms for platforms that are all us drivers out there that have different issues. Some of their issues might not be issues that I run into, but, my issues might not be the same for them.
Legion 18 says, I'm not sure who this guy is, but yes, you obviously need to have a greater than 2-digit IQ to have access to society's problem-solving mechanism. So he agrees with you on the voting point.
Give us like
you look at somebody, they go, I don't like what that guy said, so I'm going to vote for this guy. We all know Mr. Trump probably should have read from the teleprompter one extra time rather than just throw stuff out there. But who in this world, to be completely honest with you, it's no joke. Everybody said something in their lives that they wish they could take back. And if you say you haven't, you're lying to everybody. You're absolutely lying to everybody. Everybody makes mistakes. We're human.
Man, I have ex-wives I wish I could have taken things back for. So,
well, that's your problem. That is not my problem.
I'm just saying, like on a very human level, you are correct. We all wish we could take things back.
Exactly, right? And we're all human, right? Otherwise, what's the point?
No, but just going back to what I asked you a minute ago, like if you had to make it into bullet points, like the top 3 things, the top 5 things, whatever, like what do truckers want? Okay, you complain about different things than some of your buddies, but what are some of the commonalities?
The e-logs is a big thing. Our logs, what they, try to dumb us down to, allowing us to do. I think a lot of drivers should be rewarded that are incident free. The newer drivers, they should be limited on the road until they get the experience, rather than the new driver has all the same restrictions as somebody that's been driving for 15 years. Why is somebody that's 15 years incident free limited down to the same as one that's brand new? That's one. The way the shippers and the brokerage companies can take 40% off the top. They can charge somebody $3,000 for a load, but we get $1,400 for it.
Damn. My wife used to work for a brokerage company. Those were not the margins she experienced. Like, wow.
She was in the wrong line of industry, huh?
Apparently she was. She should have made a lot more money.
So
but that's the brokerage company, not her. You know, whether she works for the brokerage company. What the brokerage company is coming in is, you know. So.
Gotcha.
So let me ask about the logistics, the mechanics of the operation. Is the plan to just not leave the house and go to work, or is the plan to actually? Are you going to have trucks lined up so that you're doing rolling roadblocks to slow down traffic?
No rolling roadblocks, no blocking the traffic. I've tried to make that as clear as day. There is no reason to do that. There is none. You're putting other citizens at risk doing that. What's the point of doing that? You're not solving the issue. I mean, honestly, yes, some of us are going to be on home time. It's Thanksgiving weekend. Okay, that's already a given. But that's 50% stoppage right there. 50% of the drivers are going to be at home this weekend, the weekend of the planned stoppage, right?
1.2 million drivers will not be driving this weekend for Thanksgiving.
I mean, I don't know what the exact percentage is. I'm saying 50% broadly, right?
Gotcha.
50% are already going to be home.
I'm already getting comments over here. We appreciate the no slow rolling. That's
there's no reason. So I need the other 20. Say I get 25% of the other 50% that are still having to work, that aren't home with their families, that aren't they're hundreds, thousands of miles away from home. Can I get them to stop for 2 days, 3 days? We all get entitled to a 36-hour reset. So now all I'm asking you to do is stop maybe another 12, 14 hours? That's a 2-day stoppage of the 25%. So no slowing, no blockage of roads. There's plenty of truck stops. There's plenty of rest stops. On my page right now, I've got people with property offering up a place for a truck to stop.
I noticed that.
I mean, we'll have warm, hot food for you, even if you're not home with your family. The outpour and the outreach is amazing. And then you've got the naysayers too, and they're going to come from everywhere. But the outreach and the support for the trucking community, what I've seen is unbelievable. I mean, so no blocking roads, none of that. We've already seen what that does. What did that solve?
It pisses people like us off.
I know. Tell me about it. I can't take my wife down to Seattle to have dinner. How about that?
I believe you. I mean, like, I'm somebody that's inherently on your side. You're voluntarily using the small amount of power you have to affect the world around you, but it's going to piss in my Cheerios, so it's hard for me to get on board with you. So
I get it. But here's the thing. What happened 7 months ago?
Oh, lots of things. You mean the shutdown?
I used to be allowed to go outside without a fucking face mask. That's what happened 7 months ago.
The pandemic hit. What happened? There was widespread fear and everything else from the news and everything else. What happened to the grocery stores?
Oh, yeah, they were empty.
You ran out of toilet paper and, wait.
Let me ask you a question. Are you both still here?
I am. I don't know.
You made it through the stores being empty. You made it through the stores being empty for a couple weeks, didn't you? So am I really hurting that many people?
I'm always going to be here because please believe, if I get too hungry, I will go find hungry people and eat them.
Well, that's not what I'm not for that. Let's make sure that's clear out. I'm not for eating people. That's by far not the route I would take.
Wait, are you sure you're not an evil? You're not an evil trucker who's okay with cannibalism? Are you sure?
No, I'm not okay with that.
Okay, all right.
Too extreme, but you know.
Okay, so let me dig into some of the naysayers then. One of the criticisms that I've seen on Twitter, other truckers who have their Biden logos in their user profile saying things like, y'all do what you want, they just gonna fire you and not do no more business with you. And I suspect that the real answer to that is, now hold on a minute. We have a 900,000, basically a 1 million job shortage of truckers in this country currently. Like, the industry needs another million truckers to keep up with the demand for truckers. So the idea, and if I'm real quick before, so there's that, and then I don't think that, because some of your detractors are not truckers. I don't think they have a real grasp on the very high bar to entry that is required to become a trucker. You've got a large investment on your truck. You've got a school. You've got licensing. $50,000 a year for the insurance policy that covers the truck and has the carriage rider and the additional liability riders. We used to write insurance. We have a better than average understanding of that policy.
Yes. It can be a bit expensive. I mean, you've got but you've got the bigger companies that push drivers through, right? They just push them out. So there is that. And that's what the big companies count on, is all these guys that want to be drivers, and they just push them through. They pay for their schooling. They pay for online training and all that stuff. And
so when I'm going down the highway and I'm like, oh, you'll get 75 cents a mile. That's one of those companies?
Yes. Yeah. Come to our company. Well, I mean, there's different ways of being paid, by the mile, by the load, everything else. There's different, ways of being paid for our services. And then you've got companies that pay by the hour even, so there's different ways of being paid as a driver. But even if there is not a driver shortfall, right, the one thing that protects all of us right now is the First Amendment in the United States. Fire me for using my First Amendment right. You know how many lawsuits that's going to be? They don't want that.
Who preach the gospel?
Yeah, and so remember about not quite, but almost 10 years ago, there was the Occupy Wall Street movement, and during that movement, they shut down the shipping ports in California. When that happened, I made the point, and I stand by it. When that happened, I made the point that should be treated as an act of war. An act of treason, an act of war being conducted, essentially an insurgency being conducted by citizens of the host nation against the host nation. But in that case, what you had were people who were not a part of an industry interfering in the voluntary activities of people who were engaged in a particular industry and causing harm to the economy and causing harm to the individual people involved in that industry. Whereas something like this, quite contrarily, is the industry members themselves just voluntarily refusing to engage in their normal voluntary activity. And that's a very different thing from a perspective of rights. Now, it may have a similar effect, certainly. Products don't get from point A to point B. So a similar effect to shutting down the ports. But the people in conduct are a significant issue there. And that makes this, I think, fall much more comfortably in constitutional constraints.
Yeah, I mean that, and then we've got logs to abide by, right? So we can deny one load, and you've got to take a 36-hour reset. That's a day and a half. So you took your reset early. Or late? Well, not really late, because if you're in late, you're in violation. But, you took your reset early. You deny one load a personal day, and then you do your reset.
Yeah, let me just back you up real quick for people that don't understand how it works. Why is taking a 36-hour reset late a problem? What's the violation?
You're only allowed to work 70 hours a week, and that is not drive time. I don't have to pull up what my drive time is here, but it's like 60, 70. So you're
okay
allowed
from Sunday to Sunday. You're allowed 70 hours, and that includes drive time and unloading, loading, everything else.
Actually, on an 8-day rotation, it's a 70-hour 8-day.
Well, that's not confusing at all.
Oh, no. You make it easy for us, right? Once again, it's another one of the driver issues. Why don't you work on a 7-day work week like everybody else? But no. It was their way of giving us more time to drive.
Oh, God.
That sounds like a government regulation. Hey, we're going to cut 2 inches off the bottom of the blanket and add 2 inches to the top of the blanket, and it's going to be a longer blanket. We promise.
Right.
Under President established in case law, it is literally the case that all that is required for you to call a product new and improved is the packaging has to include a logo with the label new and improved. That is sufficient to make the package different than the previous package. So yeah, that's right there. Well, just do Panamas. Jesus. We can handle Panamas under the pineapple field. You can do Panamas anywhere you want to take it. There's at least 3 people in the audience that got that joke.
Hey, 3's better than none.
That's for you, Spooks. I love you guys.
Right. I'm just looking up something up here for you.
So
full numbers here.
Matt Parks.
I don't really run into log problems, to be honest with you. I'm one of the lucky ones. I don't run into log issues.
Probably because you try and keep your logs honest.
Yeah, that, and then it's just a matter of planning your loads. But the problem is that when you get to the shippers and the receivers, that your load, we can unload you at 7, but they don't get to you till 10, 11. That's when it gets tricky, because you can't really do a reset. You go off duty. It's weird the way they have it all. Yeah, I wish I could explain it all to you, but it's a book. It's like a Bible.
No, believe it or not, it makes a lot of sense to at least me. I work in pest control, and I realize it's not the same thing at all. But the thing that is similar is the paperwork has to match. It has to match. It has to match.
Yes.
Does it have to match?
Well, when they put the e-logs in place, I mean, that made it a little bit more restrictive on us drivers. We'll leave it at that.
It actually worked better for me because my GPS says if I'm at a location from 800 to 9:30, and I write on my ticket I was at a location from 800 to 9:30. That's a fact. That's just how it happened.
Well, a lot of us believe it's going to be more for the autonomous trucking and everything else they're coming out with. That's why they force it on us. I mean, there's all the rabbit holes people go down on stuff like that. Let's be honest. Okay? Do you want your wife driving next to a truck that there's not a driver behind it?
No.
Well, let's replace them with automated trucks. Do you want to drive next to that automated truck on the highway? Are you comfortable with it?
I don't want my wife driving.
I don't want my wife driving. I don't care if that's...
Just saying. I don't want my kids growing up in a place where there's an 18-wheeler going down the road that nobody's in control of.
No, I'm actually with you on that.
No, somebody's.
I'm a little nervous about the. I am a little nervous about the Skynet.
That's for sure.
I'd rather you and 1,000 others like you were in control of it than. Because look, one day Elon Musk is gonna die, and he won't be in control of the automated cars anymore.
It'll be kind of like when Steve Jobs died and Apple stopped making interesting phones.
I'm a lot of long haul myself. Okay, so the ELD rule doesn't come into play with me as much as it would for anything else. It's my service hours, right? So I don't have to worry about running a log really based off of being at a shipper and a receiver at a certain time. Mine is based on hours. I can work up till the top end of my hours every week, because I'm considered what they consider a local driver, which is 150 air radius from my yard. Well, actually, I'm not, because I still have to run a log, but I go out of that. But I don't ever run into the same issues that a lot of the over-the-road guys run into. I'm an I-5 cowboy. I run up and down the I-5 all the time. So, You know, that's
So
how I look
you're
at it.
local. You don't have to worry about some of the restrictions that other people do. You
Not as
just
many.
go from A to B to C to D.
Yes, my I don't run into a lot of the things that most of the other drivers do. Um, and the reason I've stayed local my whole life is because I got custody of my kid when he was 2 years old. Yeah, single dad, and my son's two. I can't be on the road for 3, 4 weeks. I need to be home. So I get kind of put onto the wayside. Well, you're not like all of us other guys out here, and I understand that. But I want to talk to those guys out there, find out their concerns, and if anything doesn't come from this, at least all these trucking people have reached out to me. All these other groups that have their own concerns, we're all talking again. And before it was, no, we stand for this, we stand for that, this person stands for that. Now we're all talking all of a sudden again. And all of us drivers always talk about the driver brotherhood. And when everyone stands on their soapbox, they measure sticks. You know, I mean,
Who's got the bigger cab?
Yeah, well, there's regulations on that too, so you can't even use that.
So part of the reason why Chris and I were so interested in this topic is if I take 20 years off my life and I go back to working for a Italian restaurant called Ludlow. It was one of the best jobs I ever had. I got there at open. I made the coffee. I made the bread. It was a great place. And the chef loved me. Now, to be fair, this chef was Gordon Ramsay. He would yell at me and he would cuss me out when I got things wrong. Okay, but it was a good place to work. And as part of his kitchen crew, he used to let us have draft beer at cost. So we're in between lunch and dinner, and I have made myself a bowl of pasta. And I went and got my 97-cent glass of beer. And I'm sitting there at the bar eating my lunch, drinking my beer, waiting on the dinner rush to start. And my chef is arguing with the purveyor. And I live in Georgia. This guy graduated from the Culinary Arts Institute of New York. So when I say he used to talk like fucking this, he used to talk like fucking this. And he wasn't embarrassed to talk like fucking this. Right?
Yeah.
And so he's arguing with the purveyor. And he's like, why the fuck my fish gotta cost more? Why the fuck my tomatoes gotta cost more? Why the fuck my cheese gotta cost more? And finally, the purveyor was like, look, chef, I'm not trying to screw you, but gas doesn't cost 99 cents a gallon anymore. It just doesn't. And if I'm going to bring hundreds of pounds of stuff to your restaurant, it costs money. It costs real money. And I have to turn a profit bringing you your fish and your tomatoes and your cheese. Because if I don't, I can't pay my driver. And if I can't pay my driver, you don't get nothing. So please, meet me in the middle. Instead of getting angry at me and accusing me of screwing you over, recognize I don't have a choice. I have to raise my prices or I can't pay my drivers. And if I can't pay my drivers, your restaurant dies.
Essentially.
Yeah, you talk about gas prices. I was PCSing from the Defense Language Institute to Goodfellow Air Force Base back in 2008 summer 2008. And, gas around most of the country was, over here on the East Coast, it was in the $3 to $4 range. In California, where I was at the time, it was anywhere from $4 to $5. Every now and then I'd bump into $6. And I was doing a Diddy move. So, Army Army pays you to move yourself, and you load up all your property like the clampets on the back of a 20-year-old F-150, and you drive from San Francisco to Los Angeles one day, and then you take a left at L.A. and go over the mountains. I get up to the tippy top of the mountains, and I'm on E in my clampet truck. I pull into a gas station to gas up, and it's $10.50 a gallon in this gas station. So I got exactly 1 gallon of gas, ate a cheeseburger in the gas station, and I used that 1 gallon of gas to get myself out of the gas station parking lot. I kicked the clutch in, popped my pickup truck out of gear, and just kind of held on till I rolled down the mountain and across the border, where it was suddenly $1.75, and I said, "I'll take it." Yeah, spending most of 2008 in Texas was a boon on the gas bill for me.
Our gas prices right now are over $3 something a gallon, and
now
that's just because of our tax regulations.
And it's diesel, right? It's all diesel that you're dealing with.
Yeah,
yeah,
diesel and even gas. Diesel sometimes is cheaper than their gas.
Really?
Yeah.
So your MoGas prices aren't the same as regular civilian pulling up to the gas station to fill up his pick-em-up truck.
No.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. That's news.
Yeah. No, we can get in the fuel on our cards and get it cheaper, but then you just got to bill at the end of the month.
Right.
I mean, if you sign up for their there's various ones out there, the Loves and everything else.
Yeah, stack up those reward miles.
Oh, yeah, so I can go another 10 miles down the road. 3.8 miles to the gallon don't get you very far.
No.
Okay. We're having fun. But let me ask you a very cynical question. So there's 3 million truckers and 19 million people associated with the trucking industry. 30,000 truckers take the day off. Who fucking cares? What's the point?
Well, what you wouldn't know is 30,000 of us probably take a day off every day and you don't even realize it. Let's be honest, 3.5 million is a big number, right? So I'm sure there's 30,000 drivers that take a day off right now and you wouldn't even know anything different.
Okay, so 30,000 drivers take a week off. What's the difference?
That makes a difference. When you start talking about a couple days, now we're talking. That's why it's a 4-day event, right? Everyone's got a 36-hour reset. That's a day and a half. That's not enough. That's not going to be effective. But the 50% that are already going to be off for holiday, 25% that maybe I can get to shut down, and if they shut down for the 4 days, the other 4 days, the other drivers are shut off, after a big shopping event, those store shelves are going to be really empty after a big shopping event that weekend.
So all the Targets are empty, and they're like, okay, we need our truck. We need it. And then they don't get it for a day or 2 or 3.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. All those people that voted another direction going into the store to get that PS5 this year, it ain't there.
Right. Okay, I've got Matt Parks, my favorite Ninja Turtle, is watching us on Facebook, and he has asked 2 questions. Won't this ultimately have a negative effects on the drivers who participate? Time and miles equate to money. Yes, Matt, that's true. However, and we'll address that in just a second. His second question is, what's to stop a shipper from just hiring another LTL carrier? Well, we were talking about that a minute ago, Matt. There's already such huge demand in the industry. We're talking about a 19 or no, I've got some numbers here, $700-800 billion industry, which is currently running at about a 1 million job deficit. There's, in fact, Matt, you remember McCants that was with us in the Delta unit. He has gotten into working as a recruiter in in the trucking industry, and that's all he does. He makes his living trying to get people to start being truck drivers. And one of the things that's going to keep these guys from getting replaced is the fact that the industry is so desperately trying to fill existing jobs that it can't sustain losing people in existing filled positions, existing filled contractors in any significant number. And one of the reasons for that, or primary reason for that, is a very large bar to entry. You're talking about, if you want to be an independent owner operator, you're talking about a 6-figure investment to get into your own truck. And that's before you start talking about the active cost of maintaining a $50,000 a year insurance policy and all of the costs involved in actually operating the vehicle. And beyond even getting the education, getting the training to get the licensure and get yourself into state compliance to be able to do the job to begin with, your average knucklehead Joe out there doesn't even have a real grasp on what it means to, as an independent truck driver. And I'll ask you to talk about this a little more, Jeremy, but as an independent truck driver, you're basically day to day, you're looking for a job. You're calling logistics companies, or you're getting onto, there's a couple of websites out there that you can get signed up to where you can see what loads are waiting for a pickup, and in kind of a mercenary fashion. I mean, an independent owner-operator can definitely get hooked up with a company that just keeps them in regular work. But there's a lot of guys out there that are basically mercs that are like, okay, where's my next pickup?
Yeah, and then you got to plan it too. So, I mean, you can go over to, Florida, and then you're going to have a bunch of stuff coming out of Florida. But if you go into Wyoming, you're not going to have a lot coming out of Wyoming. So you've got to strategically plan that you're going to get there before somebody else does and gets that load. So if you've got one going into a smaller town, you got to make sure you are got something within an area that you can get to. Because if you got to go pick up another load 400 miles down the road and you're empty, you ain't getting paid. You ain't getting paid. So you've got to strategically plan it accordingly. It's a mind game.
Real quick, what's your miles per gallon?
3.8. That's what I average on a regular.
Okay, let's just call that 4.6
if I'm empty. I can get 4.6 if I'm empty.
Okay, 3.8 to 4.6. Let's just call that 4. So if your next load is 400 miles away,
that's really far, a far distance for a load. But I mean, usually it could be a 200-mile run. Easy.
Okay. Okay.
200 miles, I can get there in 2.5 hours. What are you talking about?
Damn, son, that's impressive. That's impressive margins. It really is.
I got that E-log to beat. Remember that. I'm racing the clock all day.
Wow. Okay.
So, and for those of you that can
in my brain.
For those of you that are looking at the lower right corner of the image there, this is why I don't let Cameron drink at weddings when I'm paying him to run a camera.
I can't see what you're looking at, and to be fair, the last wedding we did,
not much. How about that?
I don't even know what we're talking about. I just know that the wedding video that I saw, the majority of the footage he used, I shot. I'm just saying, and I do mean the majority.
All right. So you were talking about the miles per gallon. Where were we at with that?
Yeah, the miles per gallon. Okay. So, yeah, good Lord, Chris had to make fun of me. Okay, so you're talking about currently you pay about $3 a gallon, and apparently a good deal for a guy like you is something that is 200 miles away, and it could be. All right, well, let's knock that way down. Let's say it's 50 miles away, 75 miles away.
You're a lucky driver.
I mean, that's still $100 just to go pick up the damn load.
So you're not getting paid for in between. Exactly. You got it correct.
That blows my mind. It really does.
There's a lot of issues in the industry, and what sucks is the only thing we can use now is a personal conveyance time. So say on our log, right, I can use a personal conveyance time in between that time. So, but usually it's a lot harder to put that on your logs than it seems. I can use that as a personal conveyance time so it doesn't go against my logs. But it's a gray area, because if you're going down the highway, you're not really personal conveying over to the diner to get some food, right? So,
yeah, I have a GPS on my work truck. I get it. Why did you go to Walmart when you said you were on the... anyhow, yeah.
Trying to do some math here for us, and I can't get a joint calculator for
So,
Okay.
let me just ask. We're over an hour, and I've got one more question, and then Chris.
Oh, no, we're at 43 minutes.
You're on 43 minutes.
We've been on for an hour. Check.
Bitch.
Yeah, I've
I'm
got
not bitching. I'm observing. I can count. No matter how much beer I've had, I can count. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
1 drink, 2 drink, 4.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay.
Hey, we got all the time in the world, baby. I've still got 3 fake commercials we could run.
Okay, Jeremy. If you won, if the point behind you making a Facebook page where you bullshit with your buddies, you can wave a magic wand, what's winning? Is it just affordable gas, or is it politicians that understand what that looks like? I mean, what's winning to you?
Right. So everything starts on emotion, right? Everyone has an idea on emotion. We all act out of an emotional state. I created a Facebook page because of an emotional state to how I felt.
Damn, he's a philosopher.
After connecting with 73,000 members, there's a lot more issues in the trucking industry that I wasn't even aware of, even being a driver myself. And I think a victory for all drivers now, one, would be to actually be heard by our senators in our local states that we work out of. That would be the major victory, for them to actually listen for a minute. That would be the major victory for every driver. Now, the victory for the American people and the blue-collar workers would be to make sure that they do not let the Green New Deal happen or any ban of fracking. We need to be self-reliant on America. Those would be the two big victories.
Self-reliant on America. I can't argue with a word you just said, sir.
Yeah, I'm not interested in getting entangled in any more Middle Eastern conflict.
Oh,
Mostly
come on.
because they won't let me go shoot people anymore.
The new Green Deal's the best thing out there. Ask all of them. I live in a blue state, a high-tech state. Okay? I live in Washington State. They've got green everything here. Everything.
I promise, your 3 kids plus 4 on the way.
Yeah, the Prius is getting my way while I'm driving down the highway.
Look, Chris,
like
and I
big
live
rig
in
tic
Georgia.
tacs.
You could bring your family out here. We'd totally be okay with your kids playing with our kids in the backyard, because we got big backyards here in Georgia. It works. It's good stuff.
I've got decent property.
Okay, fair enough.
Not enough. It's never enough, right?
But
We all live outside our means regardless.
Hey, look, our state is red as long as they don't cheat the vote.
Well, mine might be too. How about that?
You know what? I'll just say it. Donald Trump won everything except for like 44, 45 states if there wasn't cheating. There you go. I did it.
The 12th Amendment can change that, right? right? Because if there's not an actual president-elect certified by what, the 15th, I think it is, by the amendment, the Constitution, right? Then each state gets one vote. How many red states are there? So that's where I got to back up for a minute, because this thing isn't over.
Nowhere close.
If Trump wins, my whole emotional state was for nothing.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, because let's say that Trump wins, he takes the White House, and the Harris administration doesn't get to go in and fracking. You still have AOC plus 3, and Alexandria Occasional Cortex is still up there with all her Jew eaters getting ready to burn down the industry.
Yeah. There's a lot, and it's got all of us talking, so it's already a win, right? It already is a win.
Yeah, and I mean exactly. If nothing else, we're having this conversation. You got a couple of dozen people watching right now between Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. A video like this that we do on a Saturday night gets, frankly, it gets anywhere between a couple of hundred and a few thousand views within the first 24 to 48 hours. It's something that's got all the right search engine optimization with the Stop the Tires tag, the Stop the Tires 2020 tag. It's got the politics angle on the SEO, so we should get some good traffic on this even after we're off the air. The comment section on Facebook and YouTube have both been rolling the whole time. And God, the comedy in I love my viewers.
I love
my viewers. God, like just a minute ago, and we were in the middle of saying something else. But Legion says Cam's ready for his Michael Douglas falling down moment in a BJ's, unable to buy King's Hawaiian bread because he refused to convert to COVIDism.
I will tell Legion, I'll take my sandwich on any kind of bread. It doesn't have to be on King's Hawaii.
And Legion hits him again. Legion's just tearing into Cameron over here, and I'm losing it. Cameron's in a Super 8 smoking butts outside the fire exit. He's fine. It's his natural habitat. That's cold-blooded, but it's damn funny.
Hey guys. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
No, I'm fantastic.
Fantastic. Relax.
Yeah, I'm fantastic. Yeah. Enjoy your Chick-fil-A.
You got some neighbors coming in with the Lord's chicken.
The Lord's chicken.
Well, guys, we can put a pin in it here, or we can keep rolling. If we're gonna keep rolling, I would say let's take a short, about a minute break, and because I'm out of coffee.
I want to eat some dinner.
Understood.
Okay, Jeremy wants to eat dinner.
Yeah,
can I make a suggestion?
Jeremy's on left coast time, so we already had dinner over here.
He's on wrong coast time.
It's 6:50 here.
Yeah.
So
He's on wrong coast time.
my stomach is telling me it's time to eat.
Come over
When
to
you set your food just out of view of the camera, and you're sitting there smelling it for the last 15 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, can I make a suggestion?
Yes, sir.
Why don't you let Jeremy close us out? What's the most important to Jeremy?
Yes, please leave us with a message. And may I suggest that part of that message includes some commentary on your expectations for a code of conduct for these operations.
Code of conduct. We'll go ahead and start there, because one thing I mentioned I want to say is we do not. I've never wanted anyone to be blocking traffic or stopping traffic or blocking roads. End of story. If you're doing that, do not use my hashtag. Do not say you're with me. I am not part of it. That is not what I'm asking people to do. What I'm simply asking you to do is pull into your local truck stop, your home time, your yard, somebody else's property that's offering it up on our page, and a free cooked meal. Pull in there and stop. That's the code I want you to follow. As far as that goes, Victory, if you're a senator out there, Fox News got my phone number. I haven't heard a phone call from a senator yet. Fox News got a hold of 4 people in my family before they actually got to me.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of senators, Chris and I are in Georgia, and it turns out that the 2 most contentious senator races in the entire fucking country are right here in right here in Georgia, rather. Maybe you want to call him Jeremy? Maybe.
Oh, they're not my senator. They're not my senator. But I'm
yes,
sure
they are. Don't kid yourself.
Well, yes, they're senators of the United States of Congress, but they're not my local one. But there's another driver they can reach out to there. Just go to a truck stop, Senator. You drive by one 4 times a day, I'm sure. You drive by one 4 times a day.
Well, maybe David Perdue does, but not Kelly Loeffler. But I still want her to win, so I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole.
We want Kelly to win because the alternative is just too horrifying to imagine.
Go ahead and boat your ass off.
But yeah, that's where I stand on that one. I mean, honestly, we all have our issues. Listen to a truck driver, and if anything, thank a truck driver, because you and I are all talking. Everything in every one of your hands, everything that you're wearing clothes-wise, was on a truck. And if you don't believe it, what happens when we all stop?
Hey, can I ask a question? Is this hat on a truck?
Oh, I guarantee you that was on the truck.
It was on a nice truck.
That phone in your hand. How about the plastic?
This hat.
There's some oil in that plastic on that phone you're using.
Oh, you mean the OtterBox that's on my phone was on a truck?
I've got plastic pieces too. Oil goes into a lot of things people don't realize.
So all the oil that went into my vape that I love, that was also a truck?
Really? No way. I guarantee you it was on a truck at one point in time. That's what people don't realize. And we're just in the way all the time.
You're not in my damn way. Please believe you're the biggest thing on the road. I'll stay out of your way. I'm shocked by the people that are like, no, I can cut the gap in front of a truck. And I'm like, no, I can't cut the gap in front of a truck, because if I'm wrong, that truck weighs like 10,000 pounds more than mine does.
10,000?
If I'm lucky.
I weigh about 105,000 pounds every day.
Okay, so I'm basically peanut butter.
Have you ever seen a can crusher?
Yeah.
You know how that works? Get between 2 semis and hit your brakes. See what happens.
Your family is having a closed casket funeral?
I think you mean a memorial service.
A crematorium?
Yeah, it's just respect us guys out there, and it's got everybody talking. So hopefully, if anything comes from all this, we can actually be heard. Because we had for multiple years, even before I was born, there was problems.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say one more thing, and then I'm going to go and mute and let Chris close it out. But thanks for coming on, because I do respect you. I've got a job in pest control where I drive all over Atlanta, and I try and stay out of your way, because guys like you bring the pest control to my shop so that I can restock once or twice a month.
Absolutely. And we don't even think about it. We just do it because it's our job. You know, that's what we do. Everyone gets up and goes to work every day. That's just what we choose to do. We do it because we enjoy doing it. If we didn't enjoy doing it, we wouldn't be doing it. You know, I enjoy that office time. I enjoy that cruising down the road, moving down the highway. A lot of people enjoy long drives. I don't enjoy the traffic part. but I enjoy being able to go out there and clear my head for a little bit. But when you're behind the wheel that long, your mind starts to wander, and it's rough for a lot of us out there sometimes too. It really is, because you're alone in your thoughts 99% of the time. So, but I'll tell you what, we do it because we all care. We really do. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing it. So, thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate
Absolutely. I'm gonna go ahead and run the outro in just a second here. Do me a favor and stick around on the call for just a minute so I can ask you just a couple of housekeeping things before I let you off the call. I'm just gonna end the show and get it shut down. So, guys, thanks for watching. Great turnout tonight, and make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Hit all the buttons, the ding, the check, click, ding. Keep an eyeball out. We will be coming to you. This is the first time we've gone dual cast. So Jeremy, you were actually a part of a guinea pig show tonight. This is the first time we've gone dual cast to YouTube and Facebook at the same time.
This is my first YouTube live, so hey, you know what? It's all going on.
We do it every morning at 7:30 ish.
That's driver time. That's driver speak there. I'll be there about 7:30 ish.
Yeah, we try to go live at 7:30, but sometimes I'm sitting here for 5 minutes waiting for YouTube to load the content and actually go. It is what it is. But yeah, thanks for watching. We will be going simulcast on Facebook and YouTube for the daily show from now on, now that we've got that technology sorted out. And moving forward the next several weeks, we're going to be talking about this topic, and more and more we're going to do some gimmicky stuff where I bring on the global CB radio, and we're going to listen to that, and we'll make fun of some truckers until somebody notices we're making fun of them and tells them to call in, and then we'll go back and forth and get in trouble and make some noise and get some laughs. It will be my objective through the 4 days of the strike to provide some kind of content and entertainment for as much of that time period as I can for any truckers that want to listen, and of course anybody else who wants to listen. Hell, if we can get a turnout like the Rush Limbaugh Trump virtual rally thing, where suddenly just out of nowhere we had 5,000 people watch the show, I'll take it any day of the week. So we're gonna do what we can to support the movement. And Jeremy, we appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna go ahead and spin it out, hang out for just a minute, and then we'll do a little housekeeping and get you off phone and off to eat you some dinner. Thanks, guys. Love you. We'll see you. I think Monday morning is the next time I plan on being live, but we'll see what happens.
Hey, that was really good timing because the manager of the hotel just came